So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome to the Masterminds podcast with James Allen. He is I and I am him. Today, yeah. Guns up to the stars from my boy, man. Man, I'm so excited. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So when I actually started this, one of the first people who came to mind to get on this platform was you.
Really?
Yeah, no hype, because
Appreciate
man,
it.
yeah, bro. As soon as I met you, bro, since the first day, you've always, for one, your story is very inspiring. You've always kind of talked that shit too. I mean, I love like just kind of the mindset, and we'll get into all of that. I don't want to just go ahead and run through the whole podcast on the
Yeah.
intro,
Okay.
but man, I'm really excited to get you on, man, and talk and rap with you, bro. But before we do that, man, let's go ahead and do the intro. Let me go ahead and give you the proper introduction that's due to you. Man, this brother here started out professionally, I believe, as a sales and marketing director
Right. Yeah.
in Houston. I mean, he's always been, kind of had that entrepreneurship mindset, whether it be from like different ventures he had prior to, but first got his start out professionally, in corporate America, and then through some things we can hop into, he decided to jump 10 toes into the entrepreneurship space. I mean, from there he hopped into owning dentist offices, exotic car rentals. He's a 3-time author. He owns restaurants. He is involved in ownership of nightclubs, and he has his own real estate companies and owns portfolios. So, I mean, I'm really excited to have my guy, Tony Bryant, on the show. What up, family? How you doing, bro?
Appreciate you, man. I don't need to say anything else.
No, you got a lot to say. You got a lot to say, man. I mean, and man, I really wanted to just hop right into it, Tony, because man, when I say talking that shit, man, when I met you, bro, I was still in corporate America, and you were at that time when I first met you, you were like already into multiple investments at that time. But we kind of had a chance to rap a little bit when I first met you at a mutual friends party. But your mindset, bro, and that shit you were talking at just as far as mindset and outlook and what you want and how to go get it. You were talking that talk from the get-go, and you were like, hey man, I've got a group of my team that I send out these texts every day. And I think this was before like the whole 75 hard like challenge and all that. You
Yeah,
went,
for all that, man.
yeah. You were like, bro, you were going in like what? Like it was like 100 days straight or something like this.
So my book, My Daily Bread, basically I wrote it from everything that I sent out.
Got
That's
you.
really what it was. I kind of wrote a book over the internet, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about from January the 1st to June 31st, something like that. So straight every single day. Yeah.
Straight every single day,
Yeah.
consistency. I mean, just really feeding into people, pouring into people. I'm sorry, rather, and really just giving game and really just creating that space for like starting your day with positivity, the right mindset, right outlook, and shit to go get it. And that's what really caught my attention, because I was like, you were saying like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. You showed me one. I was like, hey, put me on there. And every single day it worked like clockwork, man. And yeah, man, you were just on it. And so I was just, I said, hey, man, this guy is like, I'm tap into him and see what's going on. And then, that's how we kind of learned a
Right.
little bit more
Right.
about each other. So
Definitely. Appreciate you, man. I mean, I'm honored to be on your show, one of the first few guests. I know this thing's gonna get big as EYL or bigger. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you definitely have a passion for it. I think actually when I met you at my neighbor's house, mutual friend, there was another guy who I think he's a firefighter, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
Podcast. I think he had his own podcast show as well. But yeah,
Probably. Probably, yeah. And that's a funny thing, bro. Like when I started this, when I talk to people about it, it's like, yeah, I don't know why I would think that the world needs another podcast at this point. I mean, all the damn podcasts. But I mean, I literally have, great conversations with all these different type of entrepreneurs. And we just like talk very candidly. My mom actually told me to like, I don't have to curse as much. So, but I mean, it's all good, but it's
Right.
really, I really like to just hear about different people's stories, what they've done, what they're doing now, their mindsets, how they got there. I mean, I definitely believe success leaves clues, and it's just really interesting just to talk to different people and hear their story, man. And I mean, your story, let's back it all the way up real quick, because I think, man, your story of particularly how you got into real estate and man, I can definitely, if you want to share this,
Yeah.
it's completely up to you, bro, because you told me about you like, yeah, y'all, you were sitting there talking about what you got going on now. You was like, hey, but the shit wasn't sweet. Like the first deal I actually did was like, I got into with some people that maybe didn't have my best interest in mind. And
Right.
I believe it was a commercial deal you did. Was right? Was it a commercial?
Yeah. Well, the big deal I did was a commercial deal, but a lot of these other ones were residential deals, and just kind of, I'll just go ahead and take over, I guess.
Yeah, my
So,
bad.
but no, it's good. It's good. So let me back up a little bit. So yeah, just as you say, the world doesn't need another podcast. The world doesn't need another real estate investor. So you just keep going.
Exactly.
Everybody needs a platform, and you're there to help them get that platform and get that story out. So when I was in my early 20s, I got introduced to a guy. He was he was a real estate investor, is what he did. But I had really good credit and this and that. So we hooked up with a broker, which basically she was an agent and she was also a loan broker. So she was kind of double dipping already. So, but I'm
Mm.
early 20s, naive, not really knowing anything. I just know, this dude at the time, it was a Prowler. It was a hot car, right? So he paid, cash for it or whatever. So for me at that age, it was like impressive. It was cool.
Right.
I wanted to know what you did. He was real estate. So basically, long story short, we started doing deals, using my credit, using his money, and basically, I didn't have to participate, flip, or anything. I was still working on my career. And that's kind of how we got into real estate. And the long story short, we got into one deal to where, she my agent and broker recommended I do this deal with these particular people, and it was just kind of a bad deal went south. Long story short, I had to sue them. I had to, it was a nightmare, and I wound up having to stay in that deal for about 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah.
yeah, and consecutively with that one, I did a commercial deal with this guy, and I didn't realize I was gonna be in that deal that long either. But it paid me 900 something K.
Right. Okay. Okay. That was the one. Yeah.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man. Yeah, when I heard that, it was just like when you're met with challenges like that, bro, that's either going to completely kick you out of the real estate game. You're like, man, I'll just try something else. Or if you have the mindset to keep going and persevere, you definitely learned a lot. That's definitely the school of hard knocks.
right.
And so yeah, man, that was kind of like I think that's kind of how we talked about the mindset, got into the mindset afterwards, just because of how you bounced back from that. Cause I was like, man, because like you said, you lived with that for like 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, I lived there for longer than I anticipated.
Right.
And to be frank, I just kind of stopped doing real estate altogether and focused on my career. I didn't know what was going to come of that, because they were both going through their whole processes, and I won on one of them. I say it as maybe there's God's way of, looking out for me and blessing me
Yeah.
and forgiving me for all the challenges I've been through in life, right?
Right.
So, but I mean, life goes on. That was a blessing amongst many more blessings. Still had my career, was doing well, and
Yeah.
at that same time, my wife and I got together, and and the rest is history.
Yeah. Oh,
You
from
know,
there, damn, blessings, man. That's dope. And then we've already touched on it, a few times, but talking about mindset, I mean, bro, where does that come from? Is that some shit that you were just born with?
I
Is
mean,
that something that
I'm a champion for people. I always want to see people win, even sometimes over myself. I know that I've gone through certain things. I know coming up, I didn't have a mentor. My dad and mom got divorced when I was like 9. My dad got on drugs. It was a whole situation. I seen my dad smoke crack cocaine.
Yeah,
So I come
yeah,
from literally that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
In the sense that I was visiting my grandmother, and I got to see my dad, and that was a whole situation. But no, man, I just wanted to, my surroundings, my environment that I grew up in, I just kind of wanted something different. So I started visualizing myself in literally at that age before The Secret and all that type of stuff, because I got it because I worked at a country club. I lived in an apartment complex and Section 8 housing, but on the weekends I worked in the country club.
Yep.
So I developed relationships and see how people carried themselves and thought and so forth, and went back to my reality, which I had to create a whole new reality in my mind, right? So I started to go do what I call dream building, like sitting in fancy cars, driving neighborhoods, eating
Yeah.
at restaurants, stretching my budgets, and doing certain things. Plus, I was at the country club and having conversations with these older white men, and it just kind of took from what their perspective on life was, and combined with mine, and realized I didn't want what mine was.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to get it,
Yeah.
I didn't have a mentor, so I just kind of visualized it and just kind of felt my way through a lot of challenges, and success came about, just out of me having good energy.
Right. So much that you touched on right there that I want to talk about a little further. But the first thing is that you mentioned was, and not explicitly, but you stated it, but I mean, the importance of environment and exposure. That
Absolutely.
right there, bro, like that shit is, that right there is kind of like not kind of like, is a catalyst to really shifting your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I mean, that's very important. I couldn't agree more. For me, it was, I'm coming from a very small town and growing up, and the first thing, I was very naive and ignorant to a lot of things, and being exposed to different cultures and stuff
Right.
like that. When you're forced to live with people in the dorms, and then traveling and seeing and meeting new people and seeing different cultures is definitely important for growth. So nah, man, that's a blessing, bro. Because like for you to see it at an early age through all these trials and stuff, that's still a blessing. Because I mean, I think the first time I was out of the country, like other than Mexico, was like damn near mid late 20s. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, just not being exposed to much, man. So no, that's definitely a blessing. And what would you say? Is there anything else that really contributed to that mindset shift besides
I mean,
that?
just really trying to make yourself be different. Like I didn't, like I said, I didn't have a mentor, but I didn't know specifically what I wanted, but I knew exactly what I didn't want. And
Mhm.
that was a lethargic mindset. That was, being around violence. And that was just that mentality. So
Yep.
I just knew what I didn't want, man. And I hustled until I got what I wanted. So,
Yes,
um,
sir.
yeah, and just keeping good energy, always being a champion of people and not necessarily engaging in negative energies or anything, and always wanting the people. I want to see people win over me. Like I said,
Yeah.
even people that consider themselves not a huge fan of mine or whatever. I want to see them win, and I always show that energy. I always prove myself with actions, and I don't know how to be fake. What I'm
Right.
saying? I just kind of do what I do, and hopefully I learned certain lessons out of it that I could help pass on to other people. So I
Yeah.
just genuinely care about growth.
But tell that's what I mean. I'm really interested, bro, because that particular mindset, because you've already said it multiple times, you really care and have interest in the passion of pouring into other people. And
Right.
having that high level of energy and that mindset can be fucking draining. Let's just keep it
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
And like, bro,
Yeah,
but how do you keep it there all the time? I mean, is it,
Um,
is it like maybe being very cautious about where you spend that energy and who are you around, or how is that? Because
right.
you get around some, some maybe not so, good environments, that shit could be really draining quickly, you know?
Yeah, but it's a matter of perspective as well, and where I let
Okay.
my thoughts go. So because I don't necessarily, even if I'm in various industries, right? Obviously, so even take the real estate thing. There is so much competition in Houston; it's crazy, right? But I send people deal. I mean, I help people win. Now, I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? So because I'm not supposed to engage on your level. My level is here in the sense of I got to keep my pathways open for more blessings, if that makes sense.
Yep,
And
it
it's
does.
that I don't have the time to hold grudges. I don't have time to engage in negative conversations or energy that's not advancing me or advancing you.
Yep.
So and if I keep that, I've just learned a long time ago. If I just keep that good energy and good things, only attracts good and positive people around me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't even look at it, give it a second thought, man. So maybe it's just maybe it's just who I surround myself with. Maybe it's just that I've gone through so much, nothing like that can bother me. I don't know. I
Oh,
just move with the
yeah.
motion, man.
No, dope, man. Like, I'm not saying I'm super petty, but yeah, bro, I want to get to that, that point. I aspire to get to that point because I can be petty at times, and I'm learning, I'm
Yeah.
learning. But nah, man, that's
But it's all about motives also, Jay. Everybody wants to chase the bag. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not just all about the bag, it's bigger than
facts.
and that's where people lose their value as a person, really. I mean, they it's just, you put so much value. It's all about motives. What's your true intentions? People
Mhm.
say, what's your why, right? What's
Yeah.
your why is your intentions, is your motive. If you move with the right motive, the bag's going to be there. If
Right.
you move with the wrong motive, then what happens.
Completely agree, fam. It's got to be more than money because yeah, if money is your compass, like you said, it's going to put you into unethical things. It's going to really test your character, and
Right.
then once you have like the money, it's like, all right, then what? It's got to be more than money. Money, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be something else behind it. Completely agree. But yo, so here you talk, man, because you're always dropping some gems and some knowledge. It's like you said, like you mentioned multiple times, like I don't have a mentor. Do you have a mentor now, or have you ever had a mentor?
I mean, I've never had a physical person that's just pouring into me,
Mm-hmm.
no. But I mean, I have multiple mentors when it comes to certain books or real estate, or even or of course there's YouTube, and then like you
Yeah.
guys, obviously I have a relationship with a lot of folks that just kind of matured in real estate over the course of these past few years. We've
Right.
been knowing each other, and we bounce ideas off of each other. So kind of my mentor, I see people around me more so. I guess I can look at them as mentors to certain degrees. But coming up and figuring out what I wanted to do in life, and just avoiding certain mistakes I learned by YouTube University,
Yeah.
or just watching, or just actually making the mistake.
Right, right. And that was, I mean, that's so interesting you said that because that was going to actually be my next question. It was like, you're saying you're willing to make those mistakes or failing forward, or however you want to
Right.
say it.
Right.
It's that is a skill in itself because a lot of people, a lot of people too, like where the margins are thin to make mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
are reluctant to take risk, are reluctant to step out of a comfort zone, or do a lot of things, man. And that's just super impressive. Like you said, from early, bro, you was just like, yo, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna get in
Right.
there. I'm gonna keep going.
Right.
And that's just super impressive. I don't know if you have anything to comment on that, but it's just like, but yeah, man, like coming up, like for me personally, like I said, I didn't when I got out of school, it was like, yo, I needed to make, I had to get money now. I was on my own, whatever. So that the little money that I had, I was nervous about putting it into different investments and shit like that. It was just like that mind state for me was just like, yo, I want to keep it, put it in the bank and stack it up and then, stay there. So
Right.
like how did you make that shift in your mindset?
Well, so for me, like, I was in corporate America and I
Yep.
got laid off in 2008. That was my last time working for anyone, 2008, right? Then I
Mhm.
became a full-time entrepreneur. But when I lost my job, even, I was at a high level, for what I was doing, and they paid me a non-compete, so not to work in the industry for 2 years. And then, now I was in the rental car industry. So I couldn't work in the replacement market. So that's when I went to exotic cars, right? But
Mhm.
my point is, even though I had money, we were doing dental offices and stuff. So I had money, but when I lost my job, I felt that I had lost my identity because it was kind of how I
Mm.
defined myself. You
Yep.
know, I
Yep.
defined myself by, what are you? What do you do? Whatever. I'm this and this and this and this, right? But I lost my way of defining who I was.
Right. Right. Yep.
So, and it's just that's a major thing, but it's a lot of small things like that I've just kind of taken and analyzed, and I realized so many people do that. It wasn't just me,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
think
then
shit. When I met you, I probably still in that mind state, like of
yeah,
where my position or whatever, and my salary and all that kind of shit. And it was
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
yeah,
And then and then I just kind of really looked at it. And I was down for a little while just because, but it was nothing that I could have. I mean, it was like in 2008, the economy shifted. That was like a 2,000 person layoff. So, it was cool. It was. But at the time, I had my temporary moments, but I had to eventually self-analyze.
yep,
And once you self-analyze, you realize, who you are, the value you have. So I mean, there's a few things that I do when I'm in a process like that or a tough situation. Definitely want to analyze my situation. I definitely want to eliminate certain things around me that's not feeding me good energy or whatever, right? So, you definitely want to, cut out, whether it's relationships, whether it's even something you're reading, whether it's music or whatever, just cut it out. You gotta just, obviously have a whole lot of faith and belief and just kind of go for it. So, I analyze situation. I definitely eliminate things, of course, evaluate things, and then I just kind of, realize what I do want, so I'll set these different milestones for me to achieve certain things. Whether I know how to do it or not, I just kind of put it in motion.
dope.
I try
Yep.
to figure out later on how I'm gonna actually do this. And then, like someone like you or whomever can help me do this comes
Yep.
along, before you know it, I just that whole energy is just kind of shift and move me forward. So
Yeah, man. It's and I do see a lot of people with success are very good at the visionary aspect. It's not necessarily having to understand the details and the minutia of stuff. It's just like, yo, this is the vision, and I'm gonna get there. And be resourceful. And bro, I was like, that's another thing, man. Last damn compliment I'm giving you, but nah, man, I was like, seriously, it's super impressive because I remember one time we were eating at Presley's. You and I were talking, and I was just asking about how you looked at different deals and what makes a good deal to you, particularly
right,
in the restaurant space. And then
right,
you were just kind of busting down like really quickly, like all you got to do is look at the area, kind of see their net, income as far as like liquor and food sales and foot traffic and all the other. And you were like, just the way you were able to assess things, man,
yeah,
fairly quickly is, so you are able to come down from that 30,000 foot view and able to to get into the details. But I mean, is that to do that and learn the different industries to get into? Is that YouTube? Is it books?
No, I mean it's just like figuring it out. I mean, I don't, claim to know everything, and I don't act like I know everything. But I just realized if I'm looking in the restaurant space, I'm going to surround myself with folks that are successful in the restaurant space, right?
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned mentors earlier. I don't have any mentors, but I specifically I'm invited to a lot of opportunities. Like I told you about good energy and so forth. I wasn't even in the restaurant space, but just people know me or whatever. So I was kind of invited. So I'm always going to be one. I gotta vibe with the person. They got to be a good spirited person and have good intentions, and you know what I'm saying. So the person that you're doing business with is off the back. I don't care what the opportunity looks like. If you would crook, you're not going, because I've done business with folks that are good with that.
Yeah.
So definitely look at the person. Of course, the product. What's the concept? What's the food? And what's the atmosphere going to be like or whatever. Of course, the area helps. Some restaurants feed off of a chain of other restaurants, right? The one we have, Presley's in the Heights, it's extremely busy, but it also has a lot of restaurants around it. It's family style, and my partners, they, pretty good guys. They're in the construction business, so that's a win because they can continue to build on it and do different things. And
every time I go to that spot, it's changing, bro.
Yeah.
But for the better, yeah, it was dope, man. Clear, always expanding out there. Yeah, it's dope. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah.
No, it's good. But I mean, definitely you want to obviously look at the projections and so forth, and just kind of do a pro forma of what you think is going to do. And we actually did well without even any major advertising cost or anything like that. So,
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, that place is always popping for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Kind of switching gears a little bit, man. Like you are a father, and I know that's something that's very important to you. Beautiful kids, beautiful family. I'm just kind of interested, man, as I think you've got some kids that are probably closer to middle school, getting up there in high school.
Yeah, so I have a son that's 19. He's in the military. Yeah. He ain't like the college thing, so he's in the military. Then I have a 12-year-old. She's in middle school, and my son about to be actually today's day. He just turned 11, Maddox.
Hey, he's going happy birthday, Maddox.
Yeah, appreciate it. And then my youngest is she just turned 9.
Dope. So where I'm getting with that, you just hit on it. So your 19-year-old son, he wasn't feeling it. He went to the military. In this day and age, Tony, you are involved in so many different industries. You've seen so many different things, been exposed to so many things. You yourself are educated, have an MBA. I have an MBA. But how do you feel? I guess it's kind of already answered, but what is your whole thoughts on, not necessarily personally for your kids, but do you think it's important, general, for people to get an education for your degree?
I think it's important for people to try to find out as early as they can what they want to do in life. And that may be through the encouragement of parents, of watching other people, and, just conversations with people in industries that they might think they want to go in to, because, a lot of times at that age, for a long time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew everybody was saying, go to college and go this.
Right.
And I'm not against college, but I'm against, a lot of things that, the perception of college, it's a money grab. We all know that. We can go. I've attended, in the 2021, actually even this year, I attend a lot of masterminds, and then I'm going to Florida, ATL, New Jersey. I'm attending a lot. I attend a lot of masterminds, so I invest in my education, continuing education like that. And some of those places I go, like I was in this deal, and not everybody's in the NFTs and Bitcoin or whatever. But these kids are already multimillionaires. Like, what do they really need college for, right?
Right.
So it's not for everybody. If you want to go and specialize in something, become an engineer or a doctor, or lawyer, or whatever, college is certainly for you. But until some people figure it out, go to college. I'm not against it, but I'm for it, but I'm not. What am I trying to say? I don't want to knock it.
Yeah, no,
you can be successful without it. But
Right.
then same things, my son, I was kind of pressing him to go to school, quite frankly.
Okay.
He didn't like it. He didn't, and I got it. And he didn't want to just jump off into the entrepreneur thing. He felt that he wanted to go to the military. So it's his decision. I respect that he made the decision. I don't necessarily have to agree with it
Right.
100%, but I mean, we're gonna win. So I'm always
Absolutely.
be here of course, for my kids, but I would encourage parents to be there for their kids and whatever, help guide them as much as you can, and figure out a way to pay for it that's not out your pocket.
Yeah, the debt is a very daunting thing. And then yeah, I was told the same thing. My parents, both of my parents didn't go to school, but they're like, I don't care what's going on, you're going to school when you graduate from high school. I was like, all right, like, what did I want to do?
Oh.
I didn't have shit, an idea of how college worked, what I needed to do to get out. That's the reason it took me 5 years for undergrad. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy because I really thought, going up the corporate ladder and getting my education was the way, but for me, that wasn't the way, and it took a long time to figure it out. But
Right.
I'm like you, bro. I'm not gonna knock it, but I think there are other things you could do if you're trying to figure it out, as opposed to getting in, $100,000 in debt. So
Yeah, and today, every single day, especially lately, when I was in school, of course, they didn't have, as much access to courses, continuing education, YouTube. We didn't have all this.
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? So it was different for us, and the only way everybody knew to get a decent job was to go to college, or in
right,
my case, work in the chemical plants.
right,
So
right.
yeah, I mean, so nowadays it's just so different. It's just
It's
so
Isn't it
different.
crazy, bro? How you could literally just have a cell phone and get a whole business popping and make crazy amount of money just from a cell phone.
Right, right.
You could go to YouTube to learn it. You know what I'm saying? You could get on multiple websites and platforms to do whatever you got to do, manage a CRM from there, and do it's really crazy. Like how, yeah, you're right. It just depends on really what you want to do and what you're passionate about. So now, man, I'm always interested as high performing, successful people. This, man, it's like, what is your routine in the morning? Sometimes we see the videos you out there pumping iron. I'm like, shit. I mean, I got that too. I can lift that, Now, but I mean, what's your routine, bro? Like, because you got kids too, and it's
Right.
for me,
So,
it's yeah. Mhm.
I mean, lately my routine's kind of switched up, and it's easy. It's actually, good for both of us. My wife and I go work out at 8 o'clock. She doesn't
Go,
have to work anymore. So, but I mean, she's a dentist. But
yeah.
anyway, so right now we go work out from 8 to 10. Then I'll do, I have like different Zooms or meetings, typically after that. Or sometimes when I can't work out in the morning. Well, let me just back up. So I get up around, 5-ish. I used to get up a lot earlier. Then I'll do my whole little routine. I'll go through some of the stuff that I didn't do the day before, go over my goals and what I need to do and so forth for the most
But
part.
yeah,
Things,
so
priorities, things that I need to handle early.
okay, yeah, okay. So that's one thing. So there's a priorities. What I mean, can you go through like the details of that?
So
Is it
yes, of course, yeah. So for me, I still got a team. Like I got virtual assistants I can communicate with.
okay?
And a lot of times we try to communicate in between 5:30 and 6:30. So of course I'm doing my routine also, like taking, shower, meditating, and then I pray every morning, and then we'll try to go through what we didn't accomplish, what we did accomplish. Like I got some working on social media now. I got some pulling data. So I always got people working while I'm sleeping, I guess.
Beautiful.
So we doing that type stuff, and I'm still having to finish up some accounting type stuff. So I try to knock all those things out early. My kids get up and go to school around 7-ish. And my middle school daughter, she didn't have to be there until 8. And once we get her to school, then we go work out. And then once we do that, then I typically have a 10:30 Zoom. And then, the rest of my day is really whatever I have going on. So
Dope,
yeah,
dope,
pretty
dope, dope.
pretty easy life, man.
Hey,
And like the restaurants, the clubs, the trucking. I don't have to physically be there. I'll
Right.
do it. Right.
But yeah, man, no, but yeah, still getting to it. No, and that's what I was talking about because just it's really interesting to hear someone's morning routine. I
Yeah.
because I'm a big advocate of like I think you really win your days in the morning.
Yeah.
And so like you were saying, man, the visualization, the prayer. I mean, well, you didn't say visualization. You said
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's more of a form of like meditating. It's like 5 minutes or whatever. That's before I even get out of bed, really.
mm-hmm.
So I just kind of sit there and just kind of think about certain things. But I mean, one thing I just kind of really just kind of I don't really miss in the morning is definitely prayer. So I mean, I just kind of
Absolutely.
how to really do that. I think that's kind of foundation of everything that I am,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and just kind of really what's one big thing I want to achieve, today, in
Dope.
that given day. And if
Dope.
I don't get it, I'll follow up with it the following day. So, there's many things that can go on, but just pick one thing that's gonna, shift your day from what it was yesterday to today.
Mm.
And it's always something I try to do first thing if I can.
Dope. Dope.
It could be working out, whatever. That's just part of my routine. But one major thing that's going to press me forward to some of the stuff that I'm doing. And I don't know how much time you have, but I want to just kind of just get into a
Yeah.
few things I'm doing. I'm obviously we've been in the real estate space. We've
Yeah.
been mostly focused on a lot of single family and everything. I'm shifting and going to I'm working in some deals now on some commercial,
Okay.
working on it. I kind of well, I can say it because people don't really know what it is, but I mean, I'm not. It's the early phases of the deal, and this will be dope if I get it. But it's kind of a long shot because of the conversation we have, and he's interested. We're just not there yet. But
Okay.
anyway, my point is, the apartments I grew up in, I'm trying to go back and buy those.
Come on.
That'll
That'd
be
be dope, bro.
so yeah, that will be a full complete story. So yeah, the guy who owns them, he's in California, and we've been you know conversing. He's
Nah, man. Prayers
I'm
up for
willing
that.
to,
Yeah. You gotta let me know how that shakes out. That's
well,
dope.
of course, the
How
world
many
would
how many doors?
86.
Ooh, talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. Well, nah, man. Blessings, man. Man, should I already know you're gonna get it, man. So, I know you're
Yeah.
gonna, yeah, yeah, yeah. So super dope there. I wanted to ask you, man, do you believe there's a such thing as work-life balance?
I think there's a compromise, a work-life compromise, because I mean, what's really balance, right?
Right. Right.
Especially if you're trying to be, if you're trying to dominate in your industry, which a lot of people say they are or whatever, right? You got to give more to that, until you can breathe on the other end. So I think like my wife is amazing. I mean, she supports me in everything that I do. And everything I do is because of them, right? So
Hey,
um,
yeah,
so so as far as being a balance, she is my balance. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I think it's but if the hours, you know, I'm spent I'm spending doing certain things or whatever in this hours, maybe I'm spending a little less time with my kids this week, but we gon' you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's a compromise, and
Absolutely,
everybody's okay
absolutely.
with
Nah, yeah. Well, shit. Man, you gonna make me look bad. Let me go ahead and shout out my wife. I mean, she
it.
gonna she gonna be listening to this like, damn, why
Actually,
can't you
you
treat me
doing
like Tony treats his wife?
No, you doing because that's the thing. That's the thing with us. We are able to live our dreams and do the things that we do because we have such good foundation at home. We don't have to worry about our kids going anywhere dirty. We ain't got you know what I'm saying? We got a
Facts.
little easier as men because we know the work that they put in.
Mhm.
But we are who we are because of them. And that's my foundation, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah, that's
Talk
just
about it. Talk about it,
hopefully I
man.
answered your question, man. So
Huh?
um, I said, hopefully I answered the
Oh,
question.
yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. No, I mean, yeah, you definitely answered it on the nail on the head. So no doubt. I mean, at this point, because man, you got a lot going on, and like you said, you guys have, kind of gotten to a point where some of the things are passive, and you can really navigate your 24 how you see fit. So at this point, what is what is the inspiration and motivation for you?
I mean, just to build. I mean, it's to keep building, brother. I mean,
Mhm.
in a sense of, I got 4 kids, so so definitely, I want them to remain humble and so forth. But continue. I'm not. Let's see. Let's see. I'm not one to, like. I want to educate people more on just to be able to believe in themselves, because for a long time, that's all I had was just my belief. I didn't
Mhm.
have anything, so I had to
Right.
believe, and just really just kind of put my efforts into and my energy into, one day I'm gonna have this, one day I'm gonna have that, and work my way through politics at work, and issues of people just not wanting to see you excel, and just I had to beat a lot of odds against me, right? So
Yep.
so at the end of the day, I want to pour into people, to let people know, just like if I get this 86 unit, for those particular
When you get the
families.
86.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, you're right, right. When I want to develop certain programs that instill in those kids, to where, whether it be a mentorship type deal, or whether it's just something to pour into them, because I came from that environment, and I know firsthand what it's like not to have, to want, but not to have, even
Yeah.
people, or not even feeling comfortable talking to people, or approaching someone you can see as a mentor. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, I just want to continue to do things that are bigger than me, that continue to leave, an impact, some sort of footprint. So my grandkids can be proud and say, hey, my grandfather did this and everything, you know what I'm saying, or started this particular movement or whatever. I mean, I think, yes, of course, as a businessman, you want to continue to grow, continue to, create new opportunities for other people, and also evolve yourself financially, and in all ways of life. But at the end of the day, you
Hmm.
can't do that without good energy, and without good people around you, and without your motive being in the right place. So I want to keep a good motive, and I want to pass that on to my kids, and continue to build, man. I'm
Talk
also
about it.
buying into businesses, by the way.
You said also what?
Buying into businesses, other
Oh,
businesses. So
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like your thing. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah, you've been moving in that space.
yeah,
Man, I want to ask you, man, as you talk about, your kids, you like, I got 4 kids, and you got, some that are, fairly still young.
yeah.
And I just wonder, like, because you said you come from humble beginnings, and I've come from, my kids don't have to deal with stuff that I had to deal with, and it's kind of like, but you still want your kids to be hungry and appreciative of stuff, and it's
Right.
like, how do you balance that? Because my kids are young. For one, I got one that's about to be 6 next month, and I've got another one that just turned 3. But my kids literally think that, like, if we don't have something, and it's kind of my wife's fault, but if we don't have something to eat, like, they'll wake up in the morning, what do you want to eat? Belgian waffles. Oh, we don't have Belgian waffles. We can, it's like a restaurant. You can order Belgian waffles. Belgian waffles will end up on your doorstep via DoorDash. So my kids are coming from that mindset. I'm like, yo, this cannot be good. So it's just like, shit. It was like, in growing up, it was like, what do you want to eat for breakfast? Hey, we got
Yeah,
cereal, or
yeah.
whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Make do, eat it. And so, like, it's like, how do you, with the things that you guys have worked so hard for and been able to achieve, like, how do you, give that to your
I
kids,
mean,
but keep
yeah,
them humble? Yeah.
I think we kind of on the same page, in the sense of, I thought a lot of that early on, and of course, I'm not gonna, that's, you're supposed to, leave inheritance for your kids, and make them better than you, and allow them access to more than you had, right? So I'm definitely not gonna deny them certain things, because it's our lifestyle, it's what they're used to.
Right.
Now, where it comes to instilling them, remaining humble and so forth, is to expose them, is to expose them to different situations. And my kids go to, are exposed to kids that, like, they're in the public school system, right? So,
Mhm.
because they were in private school, but we took them out, put them in dual language, so they see firsthand what some of these other kids, they lack. You know what I'm saying? So and just basically just kind of instilling them to be humble, and like I share my story with them that I didn't have this and I didn't have this. They ask me little questions, Daddy, well, how did you do this or whatever, to let's just be grateful for where you are, and to be humble, just be grateful and be a servant, any way they can serve, and build people up instead of break them down. You know what I'm saying? All about the energy they carry with them. And I see my son feeling a little entitled at certain cases, but I'll just check him and ground him a little bit, deny him some privileges or whatever.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what you gotta do.
Yeah. No, man. Same way, bro. I was actually talking to two friends of mine. One friend, it was the last podcast, they were talking about it, and the guy asked me, because he's about to have a kid. He was like, man, how do you really navigate through, like, just as men, you talk about talking to your son, like as a man or a boy, we were taught kind of like, how to carry yourself as man, and some of that shit is toxic, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's like, how much of that toxicity should we actually pass on to your kids? Because you don't want your kids to be, you want your son to be able to take care of himself and handle himself in any situation. Some of that shit is toxic. Like, yo, suck that shit up, tough it up, be a man. So it's like, what's your thoughts on that? How do you balance that?
I mean, you just let them know it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Let them know it's okay. I mean, everybody approaches situations differently.
Right.
And that's the way some people used to do it, because they didn't have many other options. Right. So, I mean, when you have options, then you can make a better decision because you have more to lose. Right. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you steal all that in them, but at the same time, this is a little funny story. My son, I think we were just having a conversation. I was talking to my son, and it's like, so if somebody hits you or whatever, what you gonna do? He says, run. It's like, hold up.
Like, no, that's not what
Now you fight.
Exactly. Yo, I'm having the same conversations with my son right now. Like, it was just like, yo, if somebody puts their hands on you, I'll defend yourself and I'll take care of the rest. And it's just like, I want to go tell the teacher. It's like, no, that's not what you're gonna do, bro.
Right.
Like, so no, it's funny, man.
My son, he's not like he's not like weak or anything. He wants to follow the rules.
Right.
Like, it's the same thing with all my kids. Like, a situation like that, you got to take care of business and then kind of address it appropriately. But
I mean, because the kids, that they think like, again, you're like saying, thinking about what to lose, the consequences. They're assessing probably a lot more than we would have been like, all right, well, you are, violate me, so I'm gonna put my hands on you and not worry about maybe what's gonna happen. But these, my son's already thinking about, like, the consequences of things and stuff like that, which is a good thing. But at the same time, it's just like, like, just off of principle. So man, that's funny, bro. And I just, interested to hear how are really handling those. I thought that was a good question.
Yeah. And I want them to lose certain energies about themselves. As we became adults, right? We take on, as we begin to take on more responsibilities, we lose things that we had as a child, like maybe like fearlessness, maybe just, the playfulness that we had. Yeah. We lose those things as we take on more responsibilities.
Yeah.
So I want to try to figure out, like you asked the word balance or compromise, to where, my kids don't lose their sense of awareness. I mean, I think fear is a good thing to a degree, but I don't want you to be afraid of failure. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to be afraid to take risk. I don't want you to be afraid to just be who you are, because that's the best way to shine. You know what I'm saying? If everybody, think about it, if everybody was there, the inner, let me say the inner child, but the person that they are, without having all these preconceived notions and the weight of the judgment of the world on them, where would we be, as a society? You know what I'm saying? How would relationships look? And you know, another thing is, you know, us specifically in a African American or Black culture, you know, I mean, we're harder on other people, like we're harder on each other than other people are on their own race. You
Right.
know, we
Right.
try, you know, I'm not saying we as in me or whatever, but I mean our, you know, society,
Right.
our nationality or whatever, you know, suppresses us ourselves more than anyone else. And
Right.
that's gotta stop. It's
Yeah.
gotta stop. We gotta want to see brothers excel and succeed instead of just you know talk about, oh, they think they this, they think they that. You know, just be
Right.
proud of somebody excelling.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and it comes from, I mean, well, I don't. That's a whole other podcast that I don't want
Right.
to talk. But I mean, it's the
Yeah.
mindset. Let's just talk about shifting that mindset again. Is that mindset of abundance? Like so Tony's win doesn't mean my loss. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like
Mhm.
that's like so. I love to hear that shit and see that shit when people are winning and like, or when something's, you know, if a business or somebody's having issues with something and we can help out, me and my wife can help out with a certain situation. It's like, yo, let's get involved because we, you know, they need to be able to win and or keep that rental portfolio or do whatever because, you know, they're us. Like, so when they're winning, we all need to kind of move
Right.
together.
Right.
And
Right.
so, nah, man, I think that's it's but that's another thing, man, that's learned the mindset of abundance, man, especially like, you know, in so many situations you always hear shit about like the chosen one, the lucky one, or all that kind of shit. So
Yeah.
it's
I
it's
hear
it's
that.
definitely a shift of mindset, man.
And it's all I hear that that's shot at me a lot. Like, oh, you rich, oh, you got this, whatever. You know, and I try to tell like some of you know, I have different groups of people, right? So, but
Yeah.
it's in one of them, it's always like, oh, I can't afford this or this or that or whatever. And I say, have more of an abundance mindset. And I just kind of harp that, and everybody around me, they know, you know, as far as it's like, don't stop saying that you can't do this, you can't do that, or you don't want to give this, or you budgeting what you can do or whatever. I'm not saying go broke. I'm not saying break your budget. I'm not saying do whatever. I mean, if you can't spend a certain amount of money or do be in certain places, then don't be there for the
Right.
most part, right? You know, but if you always move with the mentality of I can't do this or I can't do that or whatever, you will never have an abundance mindset, especially when it comes
Exactly.
to giving. You know, that's the biggest thing that's going to help you win. You know, giving people don't realize that. You know, we give a lot. I say, me and my wife, we give a lot, you know, of energy, of money, and so forth. And I'm like, you know, sometimes you know, like, you know, there's a few, like, whether it be rappers or local celebrities or whatever,
Yeah.
getting these days and recognition, whatever. I'm like, and I know some of these people personally, right? So I'm like, I gave way more than you ever gave in this 1 month. So I'm like,
Right.
like how
Right.
your day? But I could be jealous like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about, you know, just receiving what comes to you. You know, putting the good energy out and being able to you know receive great things that come to you, right? And what do you do with them? What do you? How do you continue to inspire people? You can't really teach other people to have an abundance mindset than other just lead, you know, lead by example. I don't think,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So
Yeah, good
yeah,
point.
man, I don't know. I don't
Nah,
know.
I
I don't
mean,
have it
nah,
all figured out either, Jay. You know what I'm saying? I don't have it all figured out. I just
no
move.
shit. But I mean, hey, but you moving though. You moving though, man. So nah, man, bro. I mean, yeah, I really do appreciate it, man. It's always a blessing to ride with you, and just catch up. I just want to ask, man, real quick while we're on here and while I got this on record, so everybody can listen to this. I can play it back and if I need to record. If since you and your wife like to give away a lot, can you let me hold one of them exotic cars for the weekend? I just want to pull up in a Lambo, just some I'm messing with you, bro. You look at him like, what?
So no, I'm kind of confused. I don't, we don't do the exotics anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. If you had a Lambo lying around, I was just saying, let me hold it for about a good 10 or 18 hours. You know what I'm saying?
I got 2 G-Wagons on order, but they've been on order for a year.
Yeah.
And then I go to the guy, I went to the Mercedes guy, I think it was last month or whatever.
Yeah.
He was saying Mercedes don't know anything or whatever. So I'm like, if it's not on order or whatever, or en route or whatever, in the next 6 months or whatever, like just cancel my order or whatever. Because like on the actual lot, they selling a used 21 with 9,000 miles on it for 70 grand over.
Yeah. No, I thought the G-Wagons were 2 years out on production. So if you order, it's a 2-year wait. That's what I was told.
They don't know anything. That's the whole deal. They don't know anything. Mercedes doesn't know anything.
Yeah, it's bro. We're in weird times because if you actually drive by like multiple lots, like just whatever you're interested, there's no cars on the lot. The only time you'll see stuff is like if you go like the Auto Nation, you drive by Auto Nation. Because I went by like a row of things. I saw like Audi and all of them were like bare, and then I saw like the used car lot. They were full with shit. And I was like, oh. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, like, I don't know, is it chips or what is it like that's keeping
I believe that's an excuse, but again, I'm not firsthand in there. But I mean, they can say whatever it is. The reality is they want more for this car that is on the lot. So
right.
So you want to put your priorities in that, cool. Otherwise, go invest in the property and just keep building your portfolio. Because when they do come up to speed, you can go pay cash for it or do whatever you want.
Talk about it. Now, man, bro, I always like to end the conversations with the last question I'll ask you is,
sure,
when it's all said and done, what does Tony B want to be remembered for, man?
I mean, I definitely want to be remembered from having good energy. You know what I'm saying? I can say make an impact and everything. Everybody's going to make an impact. I'm going to make an impact, of course. I want to be remembered for having good energy and moving with the best of intentions. Because that's what it's all about. My intentions are going to count for a lot of great things to come. And so it's just like, for example, you met me, my intention was always to to elevate you. Right. So if I could say anything to anybody, move with the best of intentions, have the best motives. Don't be money just motivated, right? You definitely got to make a living, definitely got to want to live a good life, right? But make sure your motives are where they need to be. Best thing you could do for yourself is believe in yourself. You can always put more in your mind than you can in the bank. And one last one, you would never outwork, work your dream. So you can dream big. You would never outwork it.
More gems for your head top, man. I appreciate it. No, man, my boy Tony B, man. It's again, man, it's a pleasure for you to hop on here. I know.
Where's your platform?
Pardon? So our platforms are where you can find us. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Apple, SoundCloud, Spotify, all those good things, man. So, and if somebody wants to reach out to you or find you, Tony, like, where's your socials? Where can somebody find you?
Yeah, the easiest thing is Instagram, Tony B for Profits. Tony B, the number 4 Profits. So, Tony B for Profits, Tony Bryant, that's it.
No doubt. And, when it's all said, now I'll actually, when we roll this out, your handle will actually be under your. Cool. So we'll be good there. So, no, I really do appreciate it, Tony, because I know, like you're saying, I know you're navigating your 24, but I know you are very intentional with your time. So to have you here for that hour, just, dropping gems and, and sharing your mindset and your story, man, is very much appreciated. And I don't take that lightly. So thank you, brother.
I appreciate you, and thank you. Continue to have much success on your platform. I know it's fire every time you you host and you bring it, and where we can view it, right? We're going to view it on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. You're always dropping some jewels. So continue to do what you're doing, and you moving with the best of intentions, the best motives, and you making a spotlight for little people like me to get out there and share all those stories. So continue to do what you do. Thank you a million times over. And yeah, man, let's get it. We see the folks who are watching at the top.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Let's get it. All right. So thank you, sir. So yeah, this has been another episode of Masterminds with James Allen. Until next time, we'll see you guys. Peace.